All right, guys. Hey, welcome to our Thursday agency building call. I'm excited to be able to have my buddy Patrick Moreno on the call. For those of you that haven't had a chance to hear his story, it's a phenomenal one. I met him at the Hall of Fame dinner this past year at National Convention, and Sean brought him up on stage, and he was talking about how he was able to take care of his family. He at 23, he's earning more than basically his entire family. He was able to buy his mom a car, bought himself a car. It was one of the best stories I ever heard. And it was really neat because he came up to me after the dinner and we talked about our parents. And I really respected him because although he's 23, he's way too mature for his age. Like he's probably 30 in when it comes to maturity, right? And we know a lot of people that are the exact opposite. They might be 30 years old, but they act like they're 18. Patrick's definitely not one of those guys. There's a reason why he's leading a massive organization. Currently, his team is doing $400,000 a month in just his Miami office with about 30 to 40 agents. So, Patrick, we're excited to be able to hear your story, excited to be able to see how you built it more than anything. And I appreciate you, man, because last week I was literally doing his call, and this week he's doing our call. So that's the beauty of this business is we don't gatekeep, we just share the information because we're all trying to help each other grow. So, Patrick, thank you for hopping on, man.
No worries. I appreciate you for having me.
For those that don't know your story, because obviously we've grown a lot since we've seen you last, right? Can you kind of quickly tell your story, like who you are, how you found the industry, and all that good stuff?
Yeah, no worries. So my name is Patrick Moreno. I got into the industry when I was 19 years old. So I was basically a yacht captain, basically driving boats. I was living paycheck to paycheck, couldn't keep up with the bills. Then after that, I went to college. I was in college and I'm like, I can't be doing boating and college at the same time. It doesn't really make sense. So I saw a TikTok about getting into life insurance sales. I told my mom about the opportunity, and then I started getting into sales. At the beginning, it was a little bit slower just because like I'm trying to balance school and work. And then once I started seeing the money coming in, I fully committed to the insurance sales. And then I started hiring my friends little by little because they started seeing I bought my first car. I was able to buy my mother a car, and then all of my friends wanted to join.
Right.
So I kind of ended up growing an agency on accident because I hired five of my closest friends, and it just kept spreading and spreading, and all of a sudden we have an agency.
Well, that's the beauty of it, right? Like you just said it. You said I hired five of my friends. Number one, you know them, you
Yeah.
like them because obviously they're friends, and then you built the business together, and you're able to make money with your friends. Patrick, you know what I've always told people, man? It sucks when you make money and your friends don't have any, because who do you spend it with? And so, like, it's awesome that you said that because you're like, I mean, if you follow Patrick, I'm like, damn, I wish I was 23 making that type of money. Because, like, he's having nice dinners damn near every night. Like, they're having steak and they're on boats. And I'm like, man, no, I'm kidding. But I'm so happy for your success because it makes me smile because I'm like, dude, that's a living testimony that it can be done. You know what I mean? Like, that's what's cool about it is, yeah, you built that, you earned that. So I love that. So you used to go face to face long time ago, prior to
Yeah.
going telesales. You go telesales, you're selling mortgage protection, and you're killing it, right? Like you go Hall of Fame, you're writing a ton of business. When did you operate out of an office, right? So you used to plug into an office. At what point did you decide to go? I'm gonna go get my own office.
So the key point for us deciding to get an office, it was kind of a strange transition just because one of the agencies we were with ended up basically leaving the company. So we had to make a decision of we don't have anywhere to work. So at the
Okay.
time I had 35 writing agents, but like 55 contracted. And there's no way that we're gonna be like we were literally working out of the library at University of Miami. Like we're
Wow.
on campus selling insurance. But it wasn't sustainable just because we have so many people that they need some place to work because everybody pays their bills.
Right.
So all of our agents are dependent on our work environment and our leadership for them to be able to pay their bills. So we just all came together. I basically put down like half the money. My upline put the deposit, and then all the other managers that I have paid their deposits for their office, and then we just moved in, and it skyrocketed from there.
When did you make that transition to get your own place?
In April
Hey.
1st, we've been here 4 months.
Okay. At April, what type of volume were you doing?
In April, we're like at 150,000.
Okay, so April was 4 months ago, and now you've been in the office, structured, agents have a
Mhm.
place to work with. It's consistent. They don't got to worry about dialing out a library, which is really unique because it's supposed to be quiet, right? Um,
Yeah.
And now they work out of a comfortable setting. They have a place they can call home. They can dial as long as they want, 8, 9, 10 at night if they wanted to. They can come in at 5, 6, 7 in the morning if they wanted to. What type of volume are you doing now?
Closer, we're touching 400 and we're trying to get to a million by the end of the year.
And see, like, if everybody goes, well, how did he do that? Dude, he created structure. That's really what it was. They're figuring out a place to work. And he goes, you know what? We know we need to get a place to work. And Patrick, tell me if I'm wrong. It was probably uncomfortable going,
It
dude,
was super comfortable because I didn't write business for the first 3 months of the year. So when we went to the office, it was literally, I have all of these agents at the time, like we had terminated some of our contracts because we thought we were going to leave the brokerage. So then I had a $10,000 chargeback with Americo. I spent $4,000 because I knew I needed a mass recruit. So I found like six of the most promising recruits that I had. I'm like, look, I'm gonna pay for your flights to go to the convention. I'm gonna get us a big house. You guys are all gonna sleep in bunk beds. If you go to the convention and you don't like the opportunity, you're not held accountable. But if you
right?
like it and you want to work together moving forward, we could do that. So I had a $10,000 chargeback with Americo, spent like 5,000 for flying out new agents, and I was covering all my bills for the first 3 months, which my overhead is like 6 to 7,000. So I was big and plus a deposit. So I was like dishing out 50,000 before getting in the office, before I even knew if it was gonna work or not.
And see, but see, that's why it worked.
Yeah.
Because like Sean Mike has always said this, cheap don't look good on anybody. And like the amount of people that go, hey, can I get a smaller space? Can we like dial out of your house? Like, let's just figure it out until we get to that point, right? But you go, no, man, I'm all in. Part of it is
Mm.
because you know what this business did for you and your
Yeah.
family. So you go, I can only imagine how good it gets from here. And then obviously you work with Jay and some amazing people that they go, no, 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 we're going to help you create that structure. And boom, you guys have flourished. What is your office culture like? So, like, what time do agents normally come in? Do you have
Mm.
set rules in place? What are some of those things like for where you guys work?
So the biggest thing that I'm trying to develop right now is trying to make it more of a corporate structure.
Okay.
So say if you own a liquor store, there's always the owner of the liquor store, the managers, and then like the people that work on the floor, right? So what I'm trying to develop right now is more leadership within the managers, which is if you produce over 30,000, you have a $50,000 a month team, you're now considered a manager,
Right.
right? That means that you have enough information to be able to give to other people, and that's something that I learned from Steven. So at that point, I'm trying to have kind of a culture of upcoming managers. So anybody that's not quite there yet, but they're striving for that, we put them in more leadership positions. So once they are there now, we can trust them to give them agents for
Right.
them to develop. So what we have in place is every day we'll do training. Normally the training will be around 12, and then we'll have them role play with each other. So like today we had a dialing I did a training for dialing at 12, and then I told them everybody, we're gonna put you to go role play with somebody that's not your upline that produces at a higher level.
Right.
That way they can able to practice amongst each other for 30 minutes and go right back into dialing.
You said not your upline?
Yeah. Because I
Why is
wanted
that?
them, the reason for that is I wanted them to be able to get assistance from a different perspective.
That's so
Because
good. Write that down if you're taking notes. That's so good.
yeah.
Because now
Because
they don't have to only rely on the person that recruited them. They have a community of people in the office that they can work with.
yeah, we
Oh,
want
so
everybody to
smart.
have a more selfless environment
Right.
because the problem with this industry is your success is directly correlated to your upline. So if you have the potential to be a monster producer, but you just happen to fall into the hands of somebody that's not taking it to the next level just yet, it's
Right.
gonna hurt your business. So we're trying to have an environment where everybody's willing to help each other and you're rewarded for selflessness, if that makes sense.
That
So
makes a ton of sense.
everybody trying to get into office between 8:30 and 9, start dialing at 9, do the training at noon, and then work until you're done with the day's work.
Y'all understand what I say when I say he's not 23? Like he's 23, but he's not 23. You know what I mean? I love that, Pat. So here's the other thing. Okay, so they come in at 8:39. They go
Mhm.
through until 12. What time do your agents really leave and go home?
Most of the agents we have are from the ages of 18 to 24.
Okay.
So yesterday I left probably like at 10 and everybody left like at 9. There was like 25 people in the office. They left like mostly like 9, 9:30.
Right. Now, this is why I'm asking because like I recruit a lot of agents that have office settings from previous IMOs, and they
Mm.
go, "Oh no, like we're not allowed to leave." Right? Which is a different story. You've
Yeah.
created a structure where they don't want to leave. That's a different story. Like, I need you guys to understand that. Like, not being able to allow to leave because like you're forced to be here is one thing. But because they're making so much money and the environment is so good, they want to stay as long as they can. How did you do that?
So the biggest thing is working with people that you want to work with and making sure that the person that you select, you're willing to develop them. Because when you're hiring an agent, you're basically getting compensating for developing this person. So you need to make sure that you understand why they're coming into the business, why do they want to make more money, and what is their story like? Like what traumas have they been through in their childhood? What self-limiting beliefs do they have? Are after you understand who they are as a person and then what they want out of the business, are you willing to have them overcome all of those four things? So are you willing to basically take on all the responsibility of changing how they used to be for them to be a person that can make more money? And if you're willing to do it, then you hire them. But if that's not something that you're willing to do, it's better to pass them along to somebody else that is willing to put that time into them.
Right. Right. When you guys bring it, like when you recruit agents to the office, like what does that process look like? I'm assuming you bring them to the office, you interview them, and you show them the whole thing. Like, what are some qualifying questions that you ask to make sure that they fit your culture? Because let's call it what it is. Not everybody that comes in should work with you too, right? You have to turn people away.
Yeah. So the biggest thing is, and this is one thing that I learned from you is like empowering the leaders. So the way that I have it structured is if you have somebody that wants the opportunity, you may not be in a position to show the results just yet if you're on the newer side. So all you have to do is communicate to the person that's interested, look, come to the office, check out the culture, and then you could go talk to my upline or my upline's upline. So then that's when I'll sit down with the person. I'll basically explain to them how the business works. And I always give this analogy of one, so like just to simplify for a new person, because insurance is super complex, like the brokerage world. I'm like, being an insurance broker is similar to being an Uber Eats driver, right? Uber Eats is just a platform that allows you to pick up at different restaurants. And then when somebody orders food, you're not able to drop off the food, right? But in that example, you don't work for Uber itself, you don't work for McDonald's, and you don't work for the customer. You're an independent driver and you get paid a delivery fee to do that.
Mm.
So the brokerage is the same thing. So Family First Life is equivalent to Uber Eats, right? That's just a platform that allows you to have contracts with different insurance companies so that when a client needs a policy, you're able to sign them up and now you get paid a commission. So you don't really work for the brokerage, you don't work for an insurance company, you don't work for a client. You're an independent contractor. So you're basically an insurance broker. So I break it down like that so it's extremely simple for like an 18-year-old to understand. They're like, oh, this is just like Uber Eats. It's the same thing. And I'm like, you need to get an insurance license because that's like your background check for Uber. Uber is not going to let you sign up if you're going to do identity fraud or steal people's social security. They want to make sure that you know the law, if that makes sense. So I'm like, now you have to go through a 20-hour course, get a license to sign up to Uber, which is Family First Life. And now they'll set up your direct deposit, which is being able to pick up at restaurants. And as soon as that's set up, now you could go ahead and start studying and doing the boot camp in the meantime where you're getting your direct deposit set up. So I give that analogy to new people.
Hey man, we can just drop it right there. The cause done. Like, do you understand how simple he made that? Because like I want like this is why I'm saying he's wise beyond his years. Most people will take something simple and make that shit complex as hell so they sound smarter than they are. He's basically taking the insurance industry, which is hard as hell to explain, and go, bro, this is Uber Eats. And by the way, the audience that he's talking to, they probably used to drive for Uber Eats and DoorDash. So they go, oh, that's easy. And then he empowers them to go get their license. Like, dude, like Patrick, like that's so brilliant, bro. Like you have no idea. I don't know where you picked that up from. That's so genius to be able to explain it that way. You know what I mean? Because so many people, they like I've seen people recruit and they go, "Oh, you got to get a, life and health license and, California insurance code regulated, regulation 40." I'm like, "What the are you doing, bro?" Like they're trying to make it seem like this thing. You're like, "Nah, bro, it's Uber Eats. Just in the insurance world. That's it." I love that, man. I love that. Okay, cool. So they do all that. How do you train them?
Mhm.
Right. So, like, I'm a brand new agent. I go through my Uber Eats contracting. Now I'm a new agent. I'm on the floor. How do I get trained by your group? Like, what do you guys do?
So as soon as they go through the contracting, they go while they're doing the contracting, they're doing their boot camp, they're watching all the videos on mortgage
Okay.
protection, going over the scripts. And what I have them do like 6 steps to basically simplify for them because I don't want them wasting an upline's time if they're underprepared. Because
Right.
when we sit at people's houses, you need to know the script because you can't read it in front of the client.
Right.
So people cut corners when they do Zoom and telesales because they could just read the script on the phone. Or they can have the script pulled up on the screen and look at the camera, if that makes sense.
Right.
So as soon as they go through the boot camp, they watch all the videos, they understand the concept of basically what mortgage protection is. We have them write down the dialing script 3 times because 3 to 5 times because we want them to memorize the script. Once you memorize the script, then that's when you'll sit down with an upline and they're going to basically tell you how to say it. They're going to work on your tonality and they're going to work on your pacing of speaking because it's more important of how you're saying rather than what you're saying. But if you
Absolutely.
don't have the script memorized, then you're not going to be listening to what they're telling you for your tone and your pace. You're going to be worried about messing up. So it's going to be a waste of time for both parties because you're not going to retain the information as a new agent, and then your upline isn't going to, they're just wasting time because you're not going to remember, right?
Right.
So memorize it first, work on the pace for the pace of speaking and the tonality. As soon as you master dialing, now is the objections. So write down all your objections 3 times and memorize them. And then now you go with the upline and you go through the script and they throw objections at you nonstop until you feel like you're comfortable with doing it. Now you get on the phone and start dialing to book appointments.
I love it. What is your new agent strategy like for leads? Are they on a lead assist? Do you guys have like a lead pool? Do you make them buy their own leads right away? Like, how do you get a new agent started with that?
So depending on who the upline is, they'll most likely buy them 1 or 2 batches of leads, or at the beginning if they're brand new, like never done sales, give them your old leads, let them run through that, try to get one sale, and then buy them their first lead pack and try to get them self-sufficient to where they're like, okay, they made 3,000. Okay, you made 3,000. Now go spend 1,000 of that on leads, keep 2,000.
Right.
We try to get them going like that. But another thing I do is I implement business credit. So I kind of like from the first call, from the first meeting when I speak to somebody, I like to give them the full picture of what they're getting into from the beginning because I rather scare them off and they don't do it than like basically like coerce them into the course and the license. And then they're just like, ah, nah, like this is too hard. This is entrepreneurship. I thought
Right.
this was quick money. So as soon as we do the Uber Eats analogy at the beginning, I let them know how the comp grid is structured. So I'm like, look, there's a commission grid, and I give an example. I'm like, in the insurance space, if you do a $200 sale, no, hold on. I like explaining the payment, how you're paid, and then I go to the comp grid. So the example that I give them is, you have a mom and a dad. Let's say they both make $5,000 a month, right? Let's say they're nurses and 31 years old. They buy a $1 million house with 200K down. They're now paying 4,000 a month to the bank for 30 years. And let's say they have 4,000 in other bills like car note, utilities, water, vacations. Their life costs 8,000, right? They make 10, they'll survive. If mom gets sick or dies, how is that gonna pay 8K in bills making 5K? Not gonna happen. And vice versa, something happens to dad, what is mom gonna do?
Right.
So that's where we come in and sell you a policy. If anything happens to mom or dad, 800K gets paid off. Now the other party can survive and still keep up with their lifestyle. So I explain that to summarize mortgage protection as simply as possible. If one of you goes down, no more house payments, right? Now, once the new upcoming potential agent understands the concept of it, I explain the payment structure. So I tell them, okay, if you were to sign up Steven for a $200 policy, multiply that by 12, right? That's $2,400 a year that this person is going to pay for insurance because there's 12 months in a year. Now multiply it by 30 because mortgage are 30 years, so your policy is most likely going to be 30 years as well. That's $72,000 that this client's going to give to the insurance company over the span of 30 years. So this insurance company looks at Steven, not as Steven, but as $72,000, right? So if I told you, new agent, tomorrow you need to come and give me 2,400 and I'll give you 69,600, would you do it? And they're always like, yeah, 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 I'll give you that. I'll give you the 2,400. I'm like, that's how your commission works. You're a broker. You bring the client to the insurance company, you do all of the underwriting, you make sure they qualify. You get everything the client pays the first year is your commission. The insurance company keeps 69,000. So that's how you're able to make so much money in the insurance space. Because you're basically keeping the first year, they're keeping 29 years for providing the service. So that's how you're able to make thousands of dollars in one single phone call. They're like, oh, that makes so much sense. Right? So now I just justified how you make that much money. Because if they don't grasp that concept, they won't commit to the idea of being a broker. Right? And then I explain the commission structure to them. I tell them that same sale, you get a 9 month advance, so you're gonna get 1,800 within 2 days. If you do a sale on January 1st, within 48 hours on January 3rd, you will receive 1,800, and then the remaining amount you'll get them on 10, 11, and 12. So October 1st, November 1st, and December 1st, it'll be 200, 200, 200. That's your full 2,400, right? And I explain chargebacks to them. Now, let's say your client water heater goes out, correct? They cancel after 6 months. That means they have contributed 1,200, but there's 600 that they're never going to pay because they canceled. So now essentially you owe $600 to the insurance company because they fronted you money. Now, don't worry, it's not going to come out of your bank account or your savings. It's just simply going to come out of your next sale. So if your next sale is 1,500, you just get 900. They're like,
Hmm.
oh, that's nothing, right? So they're way less stressed out about chargebacks. And I tell them, since you're a broker, you work with multiple companies. So for whatever reason you need to pay your car note and you have a chargeback with this company, just go ahead and sell with the other company, get your commission, pay your bills, and with the next sale, just do it to the company that you have the debt with. It's probably not going to be a lot anyways if you're always working. Like, oh, okay, that makes so much sense. I'm not even scared of chargebacks, right? That just disarms them and calms them down for where they understand how they're getting advanced, how chargeback works, and they're like, okay, this shouldn't be that difficult. And then as soon as I do that, I explain to them overrides, right? Because when I started, people didn't want to explain that to me. They're like, oh yeah, just come do insurance, right? I'm like, look, in the insurance space, every single sale will pay out at the top commission rate, which is 145. So that's 2610, right? That's what the maximum amount of company is going to pay. They pay that every single time for a $200 sale. Now, let's say if you're at a starting commission, let's just use 80% for this example, you're going to get 1440, right? Now, where's the other $1,200 going? It's going to the upline or the manager that's taking the time to hire you, develop you, and teach you everything they know. Because, and I tell them, if I know how to sell $70,000 a month worth of insurance, why would I sit here and teach 30 people and you that I just met when I could just lock myself in this room and deposit 40, 50,000 profit? So I tell them, I'm like, would you rather make 10% or would you rather make 20% off $1 million agency, which is 200,000? Or would you rather make 100% of 40K in deposits? They're like, oh, I'd rather make 200,000. I'm like, well, that's how an agency works. You get compensated if you get your agent to make commissions and be profitable. So there's no money made if there's no sales. So your manager's incentivized to get you paid because if not, they're wasting their time developing you. Because in the Miami culture, especially, it's everybody's buy my course, buy my course, buy my course. So you essentially, if I know how to sell real estate and I'm gonna teach you, I'm gonna charge you 10,000, right? So you have to pay me $10,000 and you don't even know if my course is good or not, whether it's even gonna be valuable to you. So you're gonna pay for a course, even if you do learn how to flip house, you go, you flip it, you make 40K, you really made 30 because you paid me. But in the insurance space, which is why I started, if you're broke, they teach you everything for free, all the resources, all the mentorship, everything's free, and they're incentivized to help you because if not, they're not compensated. See, do you see how this is it? This isn't multi-level marketing because you will only be compensated if somebody is successful. You don't get raises for hiring people. You only get raises if there's sales. So I tell them every 2 months you get a sale based off your performance. If you don't perform, you don't get a raise. And anybody that you hire will contribute to your raise. So if you hire somebody, you don't have to, but if you do, you'll get raises faster, right? Because their sales counts towards your sales. So that's why hiring is beneficial because you make the difference in percentage for teaching them. And on top of that, you get raises quicker. So I tell them everybody grows simultaneously. So if you're at 80 and your upline's at 95 and his is at 110, if everybody's working, you're all growing simultaneously. And I explained to them if for whatever reason everybody catches each other, which it will happen inevitably, the brokerage will take a percentage of their, I say 5% to keep it simple.
Right.
The brokerage will take 5% of their earnings and pay it back in the form of a bonus. So the day that you guys do catch each other, the brokerage is going to compensate you in the form of a bonus. So that's how they make sure that nobody gets upset with catching comps. and how everybody is incentivized to grow because the more you sell, the more the brokerage makes, which is the company, and the more you make because you now go from agent to agency owner. So I break all of that down on the first time I talk to them. So like, okay, like this is super simple. I just need to sell insurance to get raises. And if I hire people, I get more raises and I get an extra percentage on top of them for me helping them. And then the more I close and the more I hire, the more I make off my own sales because I have higher comp. So and I just break it down like that to them the first call, like the first time we talk.
That's why I'm smiling, bro. Cause like, dude, that was so damn good. Like Patrick, that would like I'm literally going, all right, bro, I'm already an agent, but like, how do I sign up with you? That was so damn good. That was so damn good, Patrick. Oh my gosh. It's not but see, like people go like, oh, success is like an accident. No, hell no. Not with him. Hell no. Like he did that. Like he created that. And it's you wonder why when people come to his office and sit with him, they're like, yo, I'm in. With the conviction of how he does it. Bro, like Patrick, like true story. When I was 18, 19, I was working for this sales company, and these guys were like, yo, man, we use PowerPoint presentations, right? And they like sold enough, but like not the most. And then like the number one income earner, he goes, y'all are idiots. He goes, you know how I pitch? Here, I'm gonna draw it out for you. And like the reason why I started smiling was the moment you started pulling out the calculator doing math, and you're like, yo, this is how the commission works. This is how much they can pay. This is how much you get paid. This is how much you get paid if you build a team. I'm like, he didn't run me through a slideshow. He just showed me on the phone, on a calculator. Anybody can do that, bro. I love it, man. And the way you keep it so simple, I'm like, oh my gosh, it makes so much sense why he's growing so much. It's really that simple. And you explain chargebacks like, yeah, you're good. Like all right, you got paid 1,800, but they only paid 12, so they're taking six away. But they're not taking six right now. They're just taking it from your next sale. Like you make it so simple for them to understand, and it makes sense why you're growing, man. Um, damn, that was good. You were absolutely putting this on YouTube for those of you that are asking. I will send you the link the moment it's done. I promise, because I'm gonna rewatch it myself. Um, okay, so you put people in the office. Patrick, I'm going to ask you an uncomfortable question. There are people that suck
Yeah.
and they suck the energy. They're negative. They're toxic.
Mm.
How do you set the table with those people? How do you get them out of the group? What do you do in that situation?
So the culture that we kind of try to establish is more of like I try to run the agency. I know this isn't probably not going to be the best example for some people, but I try to run it like a frat. So basically,
Okay.
when you join a fraternity, there's like hazing, right? So there's like the older generations, like the juniors and the seniors, and then there's the freshmen. So when you come in as a freshman, you're kind of like an outcast. Like you have to do things to prove yourself, or else you're gonna not be allowed to be in the frat. They're just gonna kick you out, basically, right? So what we do is to avoid agents that are negative or that are like sucking the energy out of the agency. We have an environment where it's like only the people that are positive and that are selfless and that are helping themselves produce more and holding other people accountable, those are the ones that get rewarded. If you're negative, you kind of just get like outcasted, like you don't get attention. And we ask you, okay, what are you struggling with? What do you need help with? And we keep helping you, right? And the people that don't want to be helped, they will just end up quitting.
Right.
If they don't want to make money, if they don't have a strong why, if they don't want to build an agency, if they don't want to take on a leadership position, they're just naturally not going to want to come to the office anymore because only positive energy is rewarded.
Right.
And only positive energy is acknowledged. So if that person's negative or complaining, everybody's like, why are you complaining? I called the same leads. I just made $2,000 today. Like, what are you talking about? So then the people that are closing are going to tell them, look, I can help you. And if you don't accept my help, then they're just kind of going to like roast you. Like, what are you talking about? Like, you're not working hard enough. Did you prepare for the script? Did you study? Have you role played? Are you prepared? Oh, no, I haven't done any of that. So then why are you complaining? Doesn't make any
Dude,
sense.
you're creating positive peer pressure.
Yeah. Yeah.
Is basically what it is. Positive peer pressure. And what I mean by that is like peer pressure is usually negative. Like there's like 10 of us, we're all drinking, we force the other guy to drink because he's the odd man out, right? Positive peer pressure is the exact opposite. where 10 guys are doing the work and the one guy that's not, he's going to be the one that usually tries to spread the cancer, but the 10 are going to kill it because he's outnumbered. And so, what I mean by that is dictated by the leadership, which is you. Because here's what I mean, and I've seen this so many times. You take 10 people, you put them in a room, watch how quick that conversation goes negative and south if there's not a person at the front that moderates the whole thing, right? And once that person sets the tone for the entire platform, things change. That's why I asked you that question because I'm like, how do you flush out the negativity? Because let's call it what it is. You put 30, 40 people in office, there's bound to be an idiot or two. There usually are. They find a way to get in. They're really good at masking it. They're actors, whatever you want to call them. But you got to find a way to flush them out. And that's an uncomfortable conversation for people to have. But I'm glad the way you guys do it is like they're going to realize it themselves. We're going to make it so awkward for you that you're not performing, you're not producing, you're not on the phones, you're not participating, that you're going to quit yourself because you're the odd man out, right? Because negative likes to attract negative. That's usually how it works. So like if I was to gossip and I call you to gossip and we're gossiping, naturally what happens is now like that problem is now bigger than it needs to be. But it happens on the positive side too. If it's positive, me talking to you and you talking to me, and we make it bigger than it needs to be, we drive the smaller one out. So for those of you that are running a group, you have to control the narrative, not because it's manipulative, but it's because you need to have more positive than negative. So you drive the negative out. The negative people find themselves out all the time, right? So I love that, man. That is so good. Um, are there any incentives that you run in your office for your agency?
So what I try to do, for instance, I see here that Janelle asked a question. I'm gonna answer a question after yours. So basically, the incentives that we do, it's I do it sporadically because if it's too predicted, like humans are the same way as kind of like dogs. Like dogs start to predict at what time you're gonna get home, when you're gonna walk them. Like they know what's gonna happen. So the same thing, the same way you're always analyzing everybody, everybody's always analyzing you, if that
Mhm.
makes sense. So I have to be very aware of like my behavior, but I also have to be aware of like the behavior I do that people notice. So if I say, oh, we're going to doing Chipotle Monday every Monday. If you get here before 9, you get free Chipotle. Everybody on Monday is gonna get here at 8:50. But on Tuesday, everybody's gonna get here at 10.
Right,
So I do things sporadic. So it'd be like we'll have days where like if you get free lunch if you got here before 9. So one week it'll be Monday, Thursday, another week it'll be Wednesday, Tuesday. So like you're always on your toes. If you want free lunch, you're gonna get here early because you get rewarded for doing the things you're supposed to do.
right.
And then another thing I do is for current managers, like anybody that has does over 30,000, we do a meeting on Mondays to see what they need help with, what they need reinforcement with. And every 2 weeks we'll do like a dinner. So we'll do like an outing, we'll do a dinner, we all go bowling with the current managers. So that's like the older people in the fraternity, like the juniors and seniors. And then we have on Tuesdays upcoming managers. So basically what upcoming managers is anybody that wants to take on that position but they're not experienced enough to do it. So I don't want them feeling excluded, like there's nothing for them. So I have a group of like 15 people that's gonna be the next generation of managers once they do get there. So with them, we'll do, let's say on Sunday, we'll do like a brunch. Or we'll do like, and every 2 weeks we'll do an event with them. So it's like 1 week manager, 1 week upcoming managers. And you have to be held accountable. So if you want to become a manager, there's like a set of rules that you need to follow. Like be on time, always be helping people. Like it's like a set rules, and if you don't follow them or you're here late too many times, you get kicked out of the group chat. And then you need to be on time for a month consecutively before you get to be added back. So it kind of forces you, if you want that growth advice earlier on, that you have to abide by the standards of being selfless. Because if you can't help other people, what makes me believe that you're going to be able to help an agent? So if there's an agent closing and you're not willing to help, how do I know if I give you a downline that I could have been direct to me, I give it to you that you're gonna be able to get them paid. So
Right.
I need proof of concept. You gotta prove that you're a good teacher, that you're a good leader, and if you show that selflessly, now you get rewarded by me giving you downlines. Somebody asked me to sell insurance. I say, okay, get licensed. Now I'm able to go give it to Nathaniel. I'm able to go give it to Kylie because they were selfless, if that makes sense. So their selflessness gets rewarded with the hierarchy
And
by
that's where you
helping.
get to, that's why I'm saying it's like you get to control the narrative and drive the behavior because if they're selfish, you just block them out. But if they're selfless, you recognize that behavior. And if you understand human psychology, like people do what they get recognized for, and then they just do it on repeat over because they want the recognition again and again. So like you get to dictate and drive that based on that. I love that, man. Did you go to school for psychology or did you ever study psychology? Where'd you pick up all this? I'm just curious.
I would just always analyze. So I would always like when I was younger, like my mom had a business for a little bit where she was making good money, but then when the business went down, we were like broke. So my mom would always give me advice. Like let's say she would give me advice for girls or for finances. I would go use her advice. I'm like, this isn't working. Like this is not working at all. I'm not getting any money and I'm not getting any girls. So this I'm not gonna keep doing whatever she says. I'm not gonna do it. So what would I do is I would surround myself with people that had what I wanted, right? So I mean, do you want me to draw it on the board so I can explain it?
If you
How
want
I
to, I'm in. I'm throughout whatever kind of training you want. I'm game, bro.
so the way I explain it to agents that are new, like I explain this to them if they're gonna get into recruiting. I'm like, look, so from the ages of 0 to 18, right? You had a mom, most likely, and a dad that they impacted you on the way that you perceive life and they just like completely screwed you up. Like they messed up your mindset. So they give you bad advice on finances, on emotional regulation, and potentially trauma. Now, here from the ages of 19 to 25, right, you need to undo whatever was done to you. You need to fix that. So now you're solely responsible for fixing all of this trauma. Like this is your responsibility, right? Now, if this happened to you, you're gonna have your own sets of beliefs. So you're gonna have your sets of belief on money, on emotions, on material objects like how to get houses and cars, right? You're gonna have belief systems. So my thought process was, if my mom couldn't teach me how to get these things, right? Why am I going to listen? If she doesn't have it, why am I gonna listen to her? Right? So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna surround myself with people that have the things that I want, right? And I'm gonna ask them for advice. So here, instead of listening to her, because it hasn't worked so far, during this time period, I'm gonna go and find somebody that has these things. So for me, it was going to my friend's house that have super nice house. I'm like, okay, I'll talk to your parents, like, oh, like, how did you guys meet? How do you guys handle problems in your relationship? So when your wife gets mad, like, what do you do about that? So I'll start listening to see how he handles situations. So I'll learn all of the good stuff, and they'll explain to me their mistakes, and I'm like, okay, if he told me not to touch the stove, I'm probably not gonna do it. So any bad things that they told me that didn't work, I won't do it. I'll avoid at all cost, right? So good things, I'll start trying out the good things that they told me. So if somebody tells me buying more leads will make me more money, if they make money, I might as well just try it. But I'm not gonna just spend the money without being prepared. So I'll prepare myself as much as possible before I go do it. And the same thing with emotions. So if I want to get a pretty girlfriend, I'm gonna be prepared enough that I'm articulate, I'm well put together, I have good style, I have enough money in the bank, I have a nice car. Then I'll go try and I'll implement whatever strategies the person that has a good relationship gives me. If somebody has a nice house and I want a nice house, I'll be like, what was your credit? How much money did you make? How did you get the approval? What bank did you go to? I'll learn everything that they did, slowly start implementing those things in place, and then now I'm able to get those things, right? But you can't do this if you're not willing to change your mindset. So unless you're willing to kill this person, find a new person to mentor you and listen to everything they say, you're never gonna have it over here. So the problem is most people want to have all of these things here without changing this. So they don't want to change their mind. So the only way it's gonna work is if you change your mindset here. You have to like what you're gonna have to do is make a list here of beliefs. So you make a list of beliefs and you have to put things that you currently believe that are correct and things that you believe are wrong, right? And you need to figure out who put this idea in my brain that I'm supposed to do this and that I'm not supposed to do this. And then now you have to reevaluate those things here with a new mindset, right? So you have to really analyze who you are, like be really like really analytical, figure out the things that you got to change, and then implement whatever they told you that goes against this. So here, there's things that you could be doing wrong that are really things that are right that are really wrong. And here you could be doing things that are wrong that should be right. So now you start fixing them and doing things the right way. And then over time, the more you change this and implement this, the more money you're gonna make, the better your relationships are gonna be, and the better your living situation is gonna be. So this is the only way to change. is acknowledge that this isn't your fault, but it's your responsibility, right? So you now have to take accountability for something that wasn't you didn't even cause, because the truth is your mom and dad, it wasn't their fault. That just happened to be their situation, and they just passed it down to you. So now you're like, okay, this is my circumstance. You can't be mad. You can't be annoyed. You just have to be like, okay, take accountability, be willing to change, question your belief system, and then once you start questioning it, you have to compare it to whatever they said. And odds are what they're saying is most likely right. So just do whatever they said over here. And then the more you do whatever they say, the more you're gonna start seeing the results in this time frame. If that kind of makes sense.
Makes a ton of sense.
That's what I tell agents for, like how to be able to help their mindsets. So that's what I did with the psychology. That's how I learned it. I would just be like, this isn't working for me. I'm frustrated. Let me go ask another person. And then as I was taking more advice, I started realizing this is wrong. Like all of this is wrong. So I started like framing my mindset and adopting whatever this person was telling me. So like or like parent like I grew up with a single mom. So I didn't really have a male figure. So I had to go to other male figures and be like, how do I get money? How do I get houses? And how do I get girls? They would teach that to me through their experiences, right? And then I would go implement that and I made my own system of right from wrong. And then I did that with insurance and I did that with other mentors to like basically reframe everything and just adopt mindsets that are currently working, if that makes sense.
Bro, you just gave us a course on human psychology and behavioral psychology. And that's why I'm like, bro, you had to have studied psychology because there's no way you understand this without it. You know what I mean? Do you read? I'm just curious. Do you read books like finance books, other books, like just to
Like
get?
audiobooks.
Okay.
Like
But you
like
do.
probably like one, yeah, probably like one every 2 months or 3 months. It's not
Okay.
too much.
Because you're trying to grow as well and not be
Yeah.
stagnant in who you are. I love it. Oh, so damn good. Um, someone's trying to be funny in the damn chat. Um, so Janelle's question that I wanted you to go over. So like someone needs to quit, right? Or they're not a fit for you. Do you let them quit on their own or do you force them out?
So I go back to this thing that I was explaining, which is why I wanted to do it first. So like, let's say if somebody says if they're not motivated or they don't feel like they're a good fit, what do you do? If they're not a good fit, it's because they probably believe something that's wrong. That's why they're not a good fit. So the same way I analyze myself, I have to be able to analyze other people. So I need to be able to figure out, okay, if this person doesn't want to dial or they're not disciplined, is it because is it that they don't have a strong why? Or is it that they were taught that work meant something else in their childhood, right? What examples did they see of hard work when they were growing up? So if their example was an alcoholic father and a emotionally detached mother, right? They're gonna go into the work environment and they're not gonna have the emotional regulation to get through difficult things, and they're not gonna have the discipline from a father figure. So now I have to go in and teach them, look, your dad should have taught you how to be disciplined in XYZ way, implement this. Your mom should have told you how to like regulate your emotions in XYZ ways. So if I teach them how to regulate their emotions and if I teach them how to be disciplined like a dad would, most likely they're gonna be motivated if they have a strong why. Because as soon as they can regulate their feelings and get through difficult times, and as soon as they're disciplined enough to do it regardless of how they feel, and they make money, they're probably not gonna quit. But if there's resistance to where they don't want to change their beliefs, they're just gonna quit on their own. There's only been like 2 times where I have to fire somebody because they don't want to change their beliefs and they still want to stick around to just be like a Debbie Downer. So I try to do those things first. I give them the benefit of the doubt. I understand their story. I try to fix whatever it is that they believe that's wrong, whether it's emotional regulation or logical discipline or any other aspects like emotional or logical. So I handle the emotional stuff first because they won't listen to logical stuff if their emotions are messed up. So Steven could feel like he knows he needs to call because he has to pay the light bill. But if he's sad because his dog got hit by a car, I can't yell at him to call. I need to address the dog situation first. I need to make him feel good about the dog. I need to lift up his spirits, then go call and be logical. So I always do emotions first and then logic. But that starts with like understanding their childhood. So understand their childhood, then implement emotions, then logic, and then that most likely fixes the issue. And if it doesn't fix the issue and they're just like just an energy drainer, then you kick them out. But I can't kick somebody out without trying to understand them first, if that makes sense.
That's what I'm saying. This is behavioral psychology. Do you know who Sigmund Freud is?
I've heard of him, yes.
Okay, he's like the father of psychology. Bro, you just literally did what he talks about. Everything that we do in our adult life was all driven by what we've learned and understood as a child. And you're basically going, I can't coach someone unless I know what happened when they were a child. Like, that's the reason why I'm like, it's genius. Because some of us are fighting with people going, why are they not dialing? Like, I would dial if I was in their situation, but you're not in their situation because they have different traumas than you do.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I'm like, it's so clever the way you're doing it. You're because like we're asking you like, how did you build your group? And we're talking about sales and calls and leads and scripts and shit. But you built your group by rewiring people's thought process.
Yeah.
Like that's the real answer. You took someone that was broken, me, and you fixed it. That's what Sean did. Let's just call it what it is.
Yeah.
Like 7, 8 years ago, when I met him, bro, I was broken. Limiting beliefs, low self confidence, low self esteem. And he did what you're talking about. He literally, now he didn't tell me that, but he found a different way to empower and encourage. And then to the point where I started going, bro, Patrick, my first month when I made 20 grand, my first month making 20 grand, I literally told Sean, I go, hey, bro, they overpaid me. And he was like, what the did this fool just say? And because most people were like, they didn't pay me enough, right? I was like, yo, they overpaid me for the work I did. Because I didn't even think I was worth it. And then he, like you talked about, he rewired me, got me to think
Mhm.
differently, changed my perspective, did what you're talking about, give me a new belief system, give me a perspective from his view, not just tell me, but take me there. And then when I started seeing it for myself, I was like, oh, bro, like a couple months later, like 20 grand wasn't enough. But he had me unlock the code. He didn't unlock the code for me.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? Like so many people want to do it for other people. Like, yo, the code is 3427. Just put that in there and unlock it. No, 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 no. You got to give them the steps to unlock it themselves. That's what it means to empower somebody. That's so good, bro. That is so good. Patrick, I'm not even kidding when I say this is probably one of the best damn calls I've ever heard.
Yeah. And then there's one more thing that I also tell agents for problem solving because I have them implement this too. So, because I was trying to find the photo because I sent it to Justin, which is one of my like top legs.
What's up,
But
dude?
what's up, Steven? Yeah, this is his computer. I'm using his room. What's it called? Basically, this I tell people to use this whenever they solve problems. So like my mom got cancer, so she's super emotional. Like I never met somebody more emotional. But I'm a Virgo. I'm super logical. Like everything I do
Hey,
is
me
like
too. Yeah, me too.
pace. Yeah, it's like logical, logical, logical. So as a child, she was like, okay, let's say an example, when your agents are struggling, or let's say you're struggling mentally, like let's say you have a leaky faucet, right? Like you have a leaky faucet, it's leaking and it's leaking all over the kitchen, right? Normally here, this is where you get mad, right? You're upset that there's a problem. Mad, a leaky faucet is just a problem. Whatever that is, that you don't have money for leads or that your agent's not doing good, you have a leaky faucet, which causes anger, right? You're mad. Now, there's two things you could do about this. Here is the cause of it, right? So the cause of the anger is a rusty pipe, right? So the pipe, the reason it's leaking is because it's rusty. So there's two course of actions you can do in this situation, right? The what most people do in this situation is they just put tape, right? Tape, they put tape on it, which is a short-term solution. Short term, right? So they put tape over it, which is basically ignore the problem or just do something else, like do something short-term solution. And then there's the second course of action, which is the real solution, right? But this solution is delayed gratification, right? This solution is going to take significantly longer. And what this solution is getting a plumber, right? And then buying a new pipe, right? But to do this, it's going to take way longer than it would to put tape. So what most people do, because since this is such big, big problems, they normally just put tape on it, if that makes sense. So what ends up happening is that what happens when you put tape on a rusty pipe? You're gonna cover the leak, but it's gonna come back bigger and bigger and bigger. And the problems are gonna keep compounding until the whole kitchen's flooded and you can't put tape anymore. So now your whole situation is exhausted, right? So if I'm talking to a new agent and they're upset and they're frustrated because, let's say, Justin's upset that he hasn't sold any policies, right? I'm like, okay, you're upset because you haven't sold any policies, right? What is the cause of you not selling policies? The cause of it is a rusty pipe, which is equivalent to I'm not prepared, I haven't bought leads, I haven't role played, and I haven't studied. Okay, what's the short-term solution? The short-term solution is call leads and do suicide closes. Sell a policy to my family member to pay the light bill. Um, Sell a policy to a friend, right? That's a short-term solution. Most people go for the suicide closes or just dialing until they get one sale and then going on vacation, right? But what ends up happening is you get a chargeback. Now the problem is even bigger and you're even more mad. When the actual solution, which is delayed, was you preparing, you memorizing the script, you role playing, you mastering your tonality, you be willing to invest in yourself and scale little by little until you have the confidence that you can now no longer be mad anymore financially because you know how to sell. Because you went through the actual solution, you replaced the rust. The rust is your lack of preparation. So if you eliminate the rust, why would it ever leak again? If that makes sense. So that's kind of how I explain it to new agents is don't go for the short-term solution because it's gonna bite you in the butt, basically. Don't do that. Do the long-term solution because people like avoiding this because it's so much longer and so much harder. But it's better for everything. So then that's how I apply this to their life and their personal life. So when I was a kid, my mom would do that. I'd be upset, like, Mom, I'm mad. Like the kids at school, like da 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 da. I'm mad for whatever reason. Mom, I'm mad because you didn't buy me a toy or whatever, right? And she's like, okay, why are you mad? Oh, I'm mad because this and this and this happened. She's like, okay, so what's the solution to that? Like, what can you do about it? After you experience your feelings and you feel it out, what can you do about it? You're like, okay, I could either go to the store and steal the toy, or I could go work hard, buy chocolate bars, sell them at school, and go buy the toy. She's like, what do you think is a more reasonable decision? I'm like, well, I don't want to steal a toy and go to jail. Okay, so how about I give you $20, you go sell chocolates, you make 60, and you go buy your toy and you can keep the 20 that I gave you. I'm like, okay, that's fair. That's an actual solution. So I apply that to every situation, whether emotional or logical. So I never get mad because why are you gonna get upset at any problem in your life if there's always a solution? You just need to be good at experiencing the emotion, identify the problem, and then just focus on the solution. You being upset that you're broke isn't going to change your situation. You focusing on your solution to not be broke will change your situation. So if you're just worried about your rust, you're just gonna get rustier and rustier because it keeps leaking. So just forget about this. You're already in that situation. Just focus on the solution, and within 1 to 4 or 5 weeks, depending on your problem, you'll probably never be upset financially or emotionally ever again. So you can't implement any of these changes if you don't know how to like moderate your emotions. This is how I regulate my emotions. I get mad at something, I'm like, okay, I'm pissed, let me calm down. Okay, why did this happen? It happened because of this, right? Okay, what can I do to change it? And then a personal example I'll give is like at one point, like an old girlfriend cheated, and I was super pissed. I'm like I'm super mad. Like I want to spaz out. I'm like, okay, why did she do that? Oh, because I didn't do X, Y, Z character traits that I should have had as a man that a father would have taught me. Okay, so what am I gonna do? Am I gonna be upset at what just happened, or am I gonna focus on becoming a better person, a better leader, and a better partner? So I just focus on the solutions. So I'll never be in a situation like that again because I fixed the root of the problem. So why am I gonna be upset? Because no ever girl would ever think about doing that because I know I'm a better person and I make more money and I have better people around me. It's like if you do that, you're just an idiot. Like you're literally losing out. So then I'm not gonna ever be in that situation because I took the long route. So all of you need to choose to take the actual solution and not focus on this. If that makes sense. And then once you implement this thought process into all of your personal problems, all of your financial problems, and all of your emotional problems, you're able to better regulate this. Because if you can't regulate your feelings, you're gonna get super defensive when somebody tells you to do this. When they tell you to change the way you are, you're gonna get defensive. But if I tell them to implement this thought process, there's no reason for them to get defensive. I'm just giving you a solution. Why are you getting defensive on me? If that makes sense. Then that's how I avoid like the defensive structure of like new agents like thinking that I'm telling them to do stuff for me to get it override.
I didn't know that Patrick was a plumber as well. but I learned a lot about that. I'm just kidding. But you know what you no, but like, but on a serious note, Patrick, you know what you are? You're a master communicator. Like you're a master communicator. You can take a very complex idea because what you talked about is, you know, emotional behavioral psychology. You're talking about all that, and you're taking a complex idea and you're making it so, like, dude, you drew it out on a faucet. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? Like, you're a phenomenal communicator, bro. Like, I understand why you're growing like a weed because you're talking to kids, and you're because you said majority of the group in your that you're working with is 18 to 24. You're
yeah,
literally talking to them in a way that they can understand, and you're actually giving them a solution that they can actually receive. That's the reason why, like, I'm smiling because I'm like, bro, it was world class communication on what you just did, and that's what I'm saying. Like there's a lot of people that go, that was the best damn call I ever heard every damn week. I'm like, no, 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 I don't give that label out freely. Like that was really good. Like I haven't uploaded a call that we've done on our sales training, product training, agency training in weeks. This one's definitely going up, man. It was phenomenal. Patrick, I appreciate you for
no
everything
worries.
you've done for us. If y'all have learned anything from him, please say thank you, follow him, drop him a line, whatever it may be. Patrick, that was phenomenal, man. I and that's why I said what I said to start this call. I'm like, he's 23, but he's not 23.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? Like he's 23, but he's not. Because like, dude, I know most people that are 40 that don't understand that. You know what I mean? So, Patrick, I appreciate you. Thank you so much. If there's anything that I can ever do to help
yeah.
you, teach you, train you, help your group, whatever it is, you feel free to ask, man. So much respect. So, Patrick, some of them are asking for your IG handle if you want to drop it in there for them or say it, whatever it may be. But
It's YS.Pat,
YS.Pat. What does YS stand for?
young and successful.
Young and successful. Oh, I love it, man. Because that's what your agency name is, right?
Yeah, yeah. YS
Yeah.
Financial Group. So young and successful financial group.
I love it. I love
There's
it.
one more thing I wanted to explain also if you guys if they want to hear.
Absolutely.
So just one quick thing, because this is one thing that I kind of picked up from Jay that a lot of people don't understand to make it super simple. Like for everybody, because this isn't gonna be emotional stuff. This is more like hierarchy stuff. But I got this a lot of this from Steven and I also got it from Jay. So when you're brand new, I to grow your agencies as quickly as possible. I'm still in the process of doing it, but I try to empower people as quickly as possible by letting them know that the sooner they recruit, the faster they're gonna grow. So the example I give is like, let's say if one of you is at, let's just say 130% comp, right? Let's just say you've worked your way up, you have a pretty big team, and you're here. So there's gonna be levels. So this is person number one, right? Let's just say this is Steven in this example, right? He obviously probably has managers and leaders. So let's just say they're at 110, right? And let's say there's somebody else at 90 and there's somebody else at 70, right? Percent, right? So the biggest thing is when somebody starts brand new, let's say that they start at 65, 70, 80, whatever percentage you start at, their biggest motivation should be to get up as quickly as possible and hire as many people as possible to develop managers. The sooner the better, right? Because what I tell them is this. I'm like, look, let's just say you've been working here for 5, 6, 8, 10 months and you get to the 90%, right? Now you have that 20% spread, and now let's say you get over here to the 110. Everybody, you want to have managers as quickly as possible because that's how you develop a business where you don't have to be directly involved, if that makes sense. So if this is a brand new agent and this is his direct upline, that's his first line of defense for help. But if he's busy, he's gonna go over here, right? So by the time that you get to your third generation, you now have a functioning business that you do not have to attend to because you have two managers that can lead your organization without you having to be directly involved. So an example means if this is Patrick, right? And I have Justin, that's my agent. Justin's here, right? Justin's recruiting agents, right? So let's say I have 20 directs, right? It's but going wider. So if Justin catches me, right, I still have all of these legs. But if I only have two legs, if I have two legs and he catches me, I lose half my production, right? So the ideology, even if you're brand new in the business, you want to hire people as quickly as possible to develop your hierarchy. So if Justin hires six different people, this one leg, like essentially, is just as deep as all these other legs. But now Justin hires Angel, right? That's his agent. And now Angel hires three people. Now, what does this do? That means Justin is directly responsible for his success, and I am the second backbone to the success, right? I am the second backbone. But as soon as Angel hires, let's say Brian, right? Now the two lines of defense are going to be Angel and then Justin. Now Patrick has a functioning business that doesn't require his assistance, and he can go focus on going wider, right? So that's why Jay always says go wide and go deep, because now you can develop a hierarchy where even if this is a little spread, it's passive income with everybody helping each other. And essentially, I tell all of my agents, you want to develop three layers deep. You want to put all of your time into your first manager and then help him with his manager, right? So the example I always give people is I want everybody to be extremely conscious of what I'm doing to you so that you could go do it to somebody else. So I always tell people the three steps is like like learn how to sell at a high level, learn how to sell at a high level, sell high level, and then teach at a high level. Teach high level. So after you do these two things, the third step is go do that to another person, to another. So if Justin understands how I taught him how to sell from 0 to 30,000 in a month, if he knows how to sell at a high level, and then he remembers how I taught him at a high level, right? And he's able to go do those two things himself. If he could go teach Angel how to sell, and he could teach Angel how to teach, you want to make sure that the information gets as watered down as little as possible. So you want to focus that Justin knows how to sell at a high level, and he could teach as if it was me teaching. So now when he teaches over here, I'm gonna be critiquing him, making sure that none of the information got watered down for me, right? So now by the time it gets to Brian, I now fully trust Justin and Angel because I know they can both sell high level and they can both teach at a high level. So now I am no longer required. So it doesn't matter even if you're at a lower commission rate, because the sooner you start developing your hierarchy, by the time you do get to these higher levels, you have a business that doesn't require you because you not trust the people that you work with. There's no reason any of you have teams and you don't trust them to, you don't trust that if I'm not around, that Angel can't help one of Justin's other legs, that Angel can't help one of my other legs. You want to have an environment where you trust everybody in the first two levels to help anybody else. If they all trust each other, that creates a selfless environment. And on top of that, that creates an actual business that's profitable because it's just copy and paste. Is selling at a high level, teaching, and making sure that that information is replicatable to the next generation. So essentially, by the time you get to generation five, six, seven, that's where you get wealthy. You get rich from selling, and you get rich from your two generations. Once you get to generation three, four, five, six, seven, that's when you make like three, four, five, six, $700,000 a month, if that makes sense. So right now, I'm focused on these two, which is why my team's volume is smaller. But by the time that level four and five are developed, I'll probably be at $1 million a month.
Right.
And by the time that this leg is fully developed, he no longer needs my help. He's has a $500,000 team. I can go focus on my new legs because obviously this leg will catch you at some point. So if you know how to do this with one person, you have no issue going and doing that with somebody else, and you just keep the cycle going because you just copy and paste. You implement this problem solving structure. You implement fixing people's beliefs, and then you implement it with focusing on developing this with these three steps. You could keep copying, pasting, and making new agencies over and over and over again, if that makes sense.
It
It's
makes
just about finding the right people. So that's why I tell people, even if from day one, there's no reason that you're not recruiting, because if you don't recruit, how are you going to learn how to do any of this if you're not helping anybody? If that makes sense. Because the second you master this and all of these steps, you can forever be wealthy because you can keep doing it over and over and over again. Because you know how to do it. It's like selling. Like if you know how to sell insurance, why are you ever not going to have money? Doesn't make sense. You just buy leads and sell insurance.
Patrick, you're a stud, bro. You are a stud. I appreciate you. Thank you so much for everything
No
that you
worries.
dropped because that was money. And yeah, I can't wait to get this call up because this is probably the best damn call I've heard in a long time. It's not very often that someone can get on a call and I just shut the hell up and listen to them talk because damn, that was good. So, Patrick, I appreciate you. Thank you so much. And guys, I look forward to you guys having a great week. Let's close out the week strong and let's make sure We implement what he says. The best thing you can do for any sales trainer is actually implement the information that they give you. So, Patrick, I appreciate you. Thank you. Have a great week. And as always, I'll see you at the top. Thanks, guys.